Hi, everybody. Welcome to My Other's Keeper. I'm here with my new friend, Barbie.
Hi.
Hi. She is a fascinating woman. We're going to have her on a few times, but today we're just going to get to know her a little bit. So I want to say hi, Crystal. Oh, Brazy Girl's here.
Hi,
Haley's
crazy
here.
girl. Hi, Crystal. How you
And
doing?
early on in the day, Tiff came by and said hi. So that was awesome.
Yes.
It'd be nice if she could stop by now, but schedules happen. So yes. Oh, and Daniel showed up. Hi, Daniel. Nice to see you.
Hi, Daniel.
Yes. And Brian Lucas is here. Oh,
Hi,
wonderful.
Brian.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Party.
Um, there was something I was going to tell you, Brian, and I don't recall what it was. I'm sure it'll come up somewhere around 3 in the morning and I'll text you or whatever. Um, anyway, it's 7 now your time. Okay, it's 6 o'clock where I'm at, which is, yeah, I'm in Central Standard Time here. And Barb and I are both Canadians. We're Canucks.
Yes.
And so if you ever hear the word a Canuck, somebody's a Canuck, that means they're Canadian. Sort of like somebody's a Yankee or a Reb.
Canuck.
Yep. Canuck.
Canuck.
Yep. And it's not just it's it's a term of endearment for me at
Yes.
least.
For me as
Because I
well.
mean, it's not one of those things where you're ashamed to be Canadian or whatever. It's like,
No.
yeah, I'm a Canuck. I'm all good.
Yeah.
I'm right in there like a dirty shirt.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah,
Same as the Newfie.
exactly. And that's what we're
Newfie.
going to talk about today. Yes.
Yeah.
See, Canada, as everybody knows, is a country with cultures from everywhere.
Yes.
Um, it's in the United States, they like to say that they're a melting pot. And when it comes to people coming in, everybody comes in and then they just all become American. And it's very proud that, yeah, we're just all American.
Right.
And in Canada, we do it a little differently.
You do.
Here, we separate the colors. Like, we don't do apartheid or we don't do like that kind of stuff, not the bad kind of separation, but we separate things into a mosaic
Yes.
so that we've got all these little colors, but together it makes this gorgeous picture.
That's right.
And that's how Canada works things. So I
Yes.
really love that. And one of the amazing things about Canada, we are huge, but because of that, we have all sorts of cultures among natural born Canadians. And one happens to be from Newfoundland and Labrador.
Yes.
So notice I said Labrador, not Labrador, and Newfoundland and not Newfoundland or
No, it's new.
Newfoundland.
It's Newfoundland and Labrador.
Newfoundland and Labrador.
Newfoundland and Labrador. That's how they pronounce it.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
So when you uh, when you talk to somebody who's from Newfoundland and Labrador,
Yes.
um, basically that's only a fairly new distinction, isn't it? It used to be just Newfoundland.
Um, if you live in Newfoundland, Labrador is separate. But we're
Yeah,
like,
no, no,
you know what I mean? Like when we're in
I
Newfoundland,
do.
we distinguish Labrador as almost like another province,
Exactly. Yeah,
right? But to the rest of the Canada, it is one province.
exactly. And when I was growing up, that's kind of what it was. It's like there's Newfoundland, there's Labrador. They're both the same shape, but one's on the mainland and one's an
That's
island.
right.
It's a rock, and
That's right.
it's otherwise known as the Rock,
The
not
Rock.
just Dwayne Johnson.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Dwayne Johnson. Okay.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
And in Newfoundland, there's it's primarily a lot of Irish, French, Scottish, British, all thrown together.
Okay. Cool.
And depending on which part of the island you live in, it depends on the dialect.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, northern Newfoundland, actually, when I was little, there were people there who spoke French, didn't speak English at all.
Wow. Okay.
And yeah, and now at St. John's, it's Irish.
Hmm.
If you go there, you
Mm.
swear you're in Ireland. The culture, the language, it's all Irish. And where I was born, it's primarily Scottish, maybe a little bit of French mixed in, but a lot of
Okay.
Scottish and British were, yeah.
Cool.
But this
Yeah,
is
and
where,
that's
yeah, so the dialect gets totally mixed up because all the different languages are just thrown into one.
absolutely, and that's what I was going to say. There's English in Western Canada, which
Yeah,
is not far off of Western United States English. There's
right,
English in Central Canada, and by central, I don't mean Ontario.
right,
Okay, Ontario is not center; it's east.
right.
In Central Canada, that's more the prairies,
Yeah,
and that's very similar to your Midwestern type of slightly slower, but at the same time, in my opinion, a little bit more clear, just because we do speak a little bit more slowly.
right.
And then is Ontario and Quebec. Ontario is much more bustling, so there's a
Yes.
lot faster speech, but it's still fairly clearly English. French well, in France, they don't want people to say anymore that they speak French in Quebec.
Right.
Did you know that?
No.
That's my daughter was telling me that.
Really?
She keeps her hand on the pulse of what's going on around the world like nobody I know. And apparently in France, they simply want you to say we speak Quebecois. They don't even want to say Quebecois
Oh,
French, just Quebecois, because it is very different. Like
it is.
20, 40 years ago, it wasn't that different, but
Okay.
it's now really changed a lot.
Okay.
So yeah, it's
Yeah.
slightly
Well, I know
different.
the French you learn in school and the French that you speak in Canada is totally
Totally
different.
different.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then you have the Ontario French, and that's different.
Oh,
Yes. Yeah.
okay. What's Ontario French like?
It's more slang, like
Okay.
a word say like potato
Hmm.
instead of saying like, is it pomme de terre? They'll just say patat.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's when I
So
lived in Alberta, I lived in a teeny weeny little French town. And that's what they would as I would want the patate.
yeah,
Patate et sausage instead of saucisson, right?
it's
So
very, yeah, yeah. And I
yeah.
don't know about the New Brunswick.
New Brunswick is more Acadian, which again would be a lot more franglais, which is the French English mix.
Okay,
So that's Quebec is a bit more French than franglais,
right.
and out in Alberta, definitely more franglais. And that's the French English mix. And
Okay.
then yeah, so it across the country, especially with French and with the Quebecois French, very different. But now let's talk English, my friend. Newfoundland has its
Yes,
very own dialects
yes.
of English. Like they still call it all English. They don't say I speak Newfie. I speak Newfoundland. I don't speak Newfoundlandese.
Newfoundlandese.
Newfoundlandese. Okay. Do they say Newfoundlandese? Really? Okay. So there is some of that. So tell me,
Yeah.
what is so different about speaking Newfoundlandese?
Um, oh, well, where I'm from originally, it would be instead of mother, it's mutter,
Mm-hmm.
you know? It's been so long since I'm trying to, if I'm around a bunch of newfies, it just comes out naturally,
Yep.
right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, if you're in St. John's, it's very fast, very Irish.
Mm-hmm.
We use a lot of words, um, like somebody would say, see you directly.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of see you later, see you directly. Now, what the heck is see you directly? Well, it's see you directly. And it's
Exactly.
almost the same, but in Newfoundlandese, they don't say see you directly. It's see you directly.
No. Yeah.
So
It's
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 that big of a difference.
all it's what do we call it? When we're teaching English, we call that reduced language because
Mhm.
you're taking away all of the stuff you don't need to actually give the information. right?
Right.
So see you directly.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like how you doing,
How you doing? Yeah.
right? Instead of
Yeah.
how are you? How are you doing?
Yeah.
No, how you doing?
Yeah. How's it going by?
Oh, okay. Now describe the buy. Describe
How's
the
it going
buy.
by? Yeah. So it's very fast, very it's hard to explain. It's just a bunch of languages thrown in a pot. What comes out comes out.
Well, you said how's it going by?
How's it
So
going
buy
by?
is just yeah. So buy it.
Boy,
What does buy mean?
boy,
Boy. There we
everybody's
go.
boy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
how's it going by?
cuz.
That's boy or girl. Or how's it going, brother?
Brother.
Brother instead of brother. Brother.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
thes are very the.
And we
It's
don't pronounce like H's at all. No.
oh.
And we put them where they're not supposed to be.
That's very Cockney English would do the same
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So have you heard? Is
Have you heard?
have you heard?
That's actually
Have you
very
heard?
French. That's very French.
But yes, that's where the
Yes.
French drops in there. Yeah.
Okay.
So Crystal, Quebec is the only province that speaks Quebecois. That's true.
It is. Hey,
That's
Crystal
true.
Phoenix, how you
Hi,
doing?
Crystal Phoenix.
Nice to see you.
Yeah. And
Um,
Indigo said, yeah, Quebecois is the official language. Very different from French, definitely.
Absolutely. Yep.
Definitely.
Very, very different from French.
Yeah.
When I was living in a town in northern Saskatchewan, I ended up dating a guy who was living with a French family who spoke Quebecois, but he was from France.
Oh, okay.
So since I learned French in school and not Quebecois French, the French I spoke, he understood no problem. But the French that the
Okay.
family spoke, he's like, I can barely understand what they're saying, and they're supposed to speak the same language. So yeah,
That's
that's a
great.
little rougher.
Yeah, even the side of the family that's French, in my side of the family, they have a hard time in Quebec as well sometimes
Yeah,
because it's so
absolutely.
fast compared to, the way they speak it. But yeah,
Yeah, the maritime provinces, like the East Coast provinces, technically Newfoundland is not a maritime province. It's too new. Um, and
yeah,
so
we
the
joined in 1949,
yes, you did. Yep.
not that long ago.
I
As a matter
know.
of fact, my grandparents,
hmm
um, and a lot of the older people did not consider themselves Canadian.
No.
They still regarded themselves as British subjects because they were born before we joined.
hmm
And some of them were very like, I'm not Canadian, I'm a British citizen. Yeah.
Well, my father-in-law was Scottish. He moved
Okay.
to Canada in 1964, 65, something like that. And he never, ever got his Canadian citizenship. He's like, no, I'm Scottish. I am not Canadian. I'm Scottish. I happen to
Right.
live in Canada.
Right.
But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So people born before then, a lot of them did
yep,
not accept that they were Canadian.
yep.
It's
Well, no
crazy.
matter where you're from, you're going to have a lot of national pride, right?
Mhm.
And there will be some people who will accept the new and some
Yeah.
people who won't, you
Yeah.
know? So,
It's
yeah,
true.
you were born in, hey, Alfonso, nice to see you.
Hi.
Uh, you were born in Newfoundland, and we're
Yes.
going to show you a picture of these things.
Oh, my
What are those
puffins.
things?
Puffins.
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 Aren't they the cutest thing? Oh my
Yeah.
word.
And where I'm from, that they're so used to people that,
Ah,
yeah, yeah, they are. I mean, there's a place that they all we go, and I mean, if you go too close, they'll fly away. But they're
yeah.
pretty. Yeah, yeah, it's just people, and they're funny.
Are they?
Yeah.
Tell me about a puffin.
Uh,
Puffin is the provincial bird
yes,
for Newfoundland Labrador.
And yeah, they're comical for some reason. They just do silly things. They kiss and this is honest to God.
Oh my word.
Yeah,
That is
or
so
they look
cute. And
like
they
they
are
are
the
anyway. But
cutest.
yeah, they are the cutest things. They're just amazing. My husband in July saw them for the first time. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, we were down there in July and
okay.
yeah, so we want to go see the puffins.
Yep. Do you realize that you are starting to slip into Newfoundlandese?
Oh no.
No, you are. You're not saying your THs, you're doing them.
Ugh.
Duh. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Oh
Tr
no.
like that's, but you,
Yeah,
because we're talking about it,
yeah,
it's probably where your brain is going, right?
that's
Does that
right.
make sense?
That's
Yeah.
yeah. The minute I'm around a Newfoundlander, I'm right back there.
Yep.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah,
So puffins are really popular.
yeah.
Are they found really anywhere else in the world? Do you
I
know?
believe, yeah, northern like Iceland,
Okay.
I believe
So they
Greenland.
like the cold.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know of anywhere else, but I know, yeah, yeah, they are there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So where was it that you were born?
I was originally born in Bonavista, Vista,
Okay.
and
Where were you secondarily born?
secondarily.
Sorry. Sorry. Bad English teacher. Yes, you were born in Bonavista. You were originally born in Bonavista. Second time I
Bonavista.
was born, I was in, yeah.
And Bonavista is the first place the Europeans landed before Columbus.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think you have a picture of John Cabot, who was the guy who landed there.
Well, a statue of him. Yep.
Yep, statue. There he is in all of his
Yep.
glory. Yep. And this is the area where I'm from.
Okay.
And I think there's an iceberg out on the ocean
I
there.
was going to ask, is that a sailboat
Yeah,
or an iceberg?
that looks like, no, those are icebergs.
There are icebergs just
Lots.
off the coast of where Barb, or do you prefer Barb or Barbie?
Barb's fine. Yeah.
Barb, okay.
Yep.
Just off the coast of where Barb was born. Can
Hmm.
you imagine living that close to icebergs?
Oh, yeah.
That'd be chilly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. As kids in June, July, we would be swimming on the beach and we would see the icebergs.
Wow.
That's how cold the
Interesting.
water is. Yeah.
How do you swim in that? My word.
You can only stay in for short periods of time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can
Because
imagine.
you get what's called pricklies because the water
Well,
is so cold. Yeah. It feels like little needles are stabbing your skin. So then you
and
lose
it's
time.
little ice crystals forming, I imagine. Like
Probably. I don't know. But when you feel those, you know it's time to get out. You're probably close to death.
that would be bad.
No.
Look out, Barb went swimming too long.
And when we were down there in July, we went to a restaurant, and my husband loved it. And we ordered. I didn't order lobster. I'm not crazy about it, but he did. And the
Mm.
lobster was just caught a few hours prior.
Oh, I
Yeah,
love that.
yeah, we really
Yes. Oh
enjoyed
my
that.
goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh wow.
And
So
hi, Joel.
lobster season. Hi, Joel. Lobster season. From
I'm
what I
not sure.
in where we were at, we lived in New Brunswick for a very
Okay.
short period of time, and it was the months with an R in it where
Oh,
they were allowed to harvest lobster.
right.
And I know it's at different stages in different areas to allow for, do lobsters migrate? I don't know, for the spawning, for the temperature of the water and
I'm
all
not
that kind
sure.
of.
I'm not sure. Yeah. And
Hmm.
yep. And our Christmas, I can tell you a little bit about that because we just had Christmas. In Newfoundland, today is the day we would have our second Christmas dinner. We would call it Little Christmas. And last night was Little Christmas Eve.
Hmm.
And not everybody did this. My dad did. We would get to hang our stockings for the second time. And Santa,
Ooh,
yeah. So Santa made a quick run around for the last time.
nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It was really
Other
nice.
places would think of this as an Orthodox Christmas.
That's right.
Other places in Canada would simply call it Ukrainian Christmas.
Right.
Um, I learned it as Orthodox Christmas only as an adult because I had students from all over the world from Orthodox churches, like
Okay.
Greek Orthodox, Ukrainian, Ethiopian, like
Yes.
just around the world. They followed
Yes.
the Gregorian calendar.
That's right.
And yeah, so that's where this second Christmas comes
That's for
from.
the second, I guess, from the ancestors. Yeah.
Yep,
And
absolutely.
yeah, same as the Ukrainian Christmas, Crystal.
Yep,
And
that's
our
right.
Christmas starts on the 23rd of December.
Ooh,
It's called Tibbs Eve
Tibbs Eve.
or Tipsy Eve.
Okay,
Yeah.
I
But
can imagine.
it's a thing. Yeah.
Okay.
All the adults get together and they party and get drunk.
So it really is Tipsy Eve. Got it.
It's called Tipsy Eve.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Before, they have the do the whole Christmas thing. They kind of all get together, have a house party. Yeah.
Yep.
And they would do that.
And what is a house party is different in Newfoundland than it would be in other places in Canada? What would be different about a house party in Newfoundland?
The house parties, everybody, you just play an instrument, sing, dance. Yeah. It's not just, stand up and talk or whatever. Yeah, it's very Irish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Very Celtic.
very
Yeah.
definitely. My dad
Yeah.
played violin.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, yeah. And
Okay.
I played when I was little, not anymore, but I used to play. And yeah,
Okay.
it's Newfoundland's, I guess because he didn't have anything else to do. you know. Um,
So what do your other 12 brothers and sisters think?
yeah, I know. We had a small family, three younger sisters. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And well, Christmas, there's also a thing called mummering, and that usually starts around Boxing Day until Little Christmas Day. And these are mummers.
Oh, okay. Yep.
And
So
oh, Indigo, it
what
played
on earth?
too. And yeah, so whoever felt like it would just dress up.
Hmm.
Usually they came in groups because you had to either sing, play an instrument, or dance. So by
Ah.
traveling in groups of 4 or 5, they could all get together and just, not have to worry about it. And that's the only way you could get an alcoholic drink. Yeah.
Okay.
And
There's
everybody would,
some.
yeah. And everybody
No,
would
go
try
ahead.
to guess who was it? Like
There you
who was
go.
it? Even my grandmother came to our house one year dressed up as a man. So you never
Did
know
she fool anyone?
pardon me?
Did she fool anyone?
Yes.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. Indigo says it's an old Christmas custom from England and Ireland. Mummering can be a version of modern form traced back to Newfoundland in the 19th century. That's right.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's right.
And also the Philadelphia parade, as I found out.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
in Indigo, there are mummers in Philadelphia.
So tell me what these people have with the shoes on. See, a couple curling. No, those are
Oh,
those
those are
are
silly
ski
sticks.
boots.
Oh, you mean what they're carrying in their hands?
Yeah.
Those are silly sticks.
Okay.
Yeah.
What does
It's
that
just a
entail?
stick they just put things on. It is just silly. And sometimes they bring the second piece of wood
Uh-huh.
and they just play, like pretend it's an instrument. Now that's
Okay.
not more popular in this generation. Now in the
Ah,
older generation, it was usually a violin, a guitar,
right.
accordion. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. This generation, probably quite a bit fewer people would be musically
That's
talented or yeah,
yeah. Yeah,
or
because when I
inclined
was
even.
growing up, like Newfoundland's a very poor province,
Yeah.
especially when I was growing up there.
Yeah.
And I remember there were friends of mine did not even have indoor plumbing.
Wow.
Some didn't even
When I
have much
lived in
of a sink.
Alberta, I had friends without indoor plumbing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And electricity,
yeah.
TVs, phones.
Hmm.
Yeah, there were people in my town that didn't have that.
Yeah, it's
You know,
amazing
so they made
as
their
well.
own. Yeah, they had to make their own entertainment.
Absolutely.
And
Well, Newfoundland's also called the Rock. And like I
mhm,
was saying earlier, we're not talking Dwayne Johnson here. We're
nope.
talking a slab of granite that, I mean, you can't
Yeah,
exactly bury cable lines and bury phone lines
yeah,
and that kind
very
of stuff.
rocky. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, very rocky coast, definitely.
Hmm.
And the weather, oh my God, that's another one.
Okay. Tell us about the weather.
Terrible weather. I would go retire there if it wasn't for the weather. It's very, very cold. We get pretty much 2 seasons, and, that would be, yeah, winter and winter, but no.
Oh boy.
We really don't get a lot of summer. We get probably a month of summer. Now, I was down
Okay.
there this year or last year, the 1st week of July, and we had to wear coats.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, it was
Wow.
yeah. Now, when we left, it warmed up for 3 or 4 weeks, but
Hmm.
and very foggy, very, it's like England's weather except colder.
Is it north of where England would be, or is it pretty
It's north.
parallel? It's
Yeah,
north.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So it's colder than England, lots of rain, lots of fog. Um, so yeah, the weather is not the greatest.
Okay. Yeah. So if you suffer from seasonal affective disorder
Yeah,
where you need sunshine, that's not the place for
absolutely.
you.
Yeah,
Nowhere coastal really is.
no,
So, yeah.
no, no, it's like that. Um, but yeah, I don't know if
So,
there's many of the well, I know we're very superstitious in Newfoundland.
oh, okay.
Yeah,
What are some of the superstitions?
jack-o'-lantern, and,
Okay.
yep, we have jack-o'-lantern, and he takes people in the fog.
Oh, like
So
an actual dude, Jack o'
supposed to be
lantern.
yeah, yeah, jack-o'-lantern.
Mm.
So, it's so foggy at night that you people would lose their way. They would actually go off the path, and lose just get lost. So when that happened, they would always say jack-o'-lantern took them.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wow.
And of course,
Okay.
my grandmother would tell me stories of people actually never being found because jack-o'-lantern got them. Yeah.
So, in other words, don't go off the path, honey.
No, no. And if you do go walking in the fog, you had to turn your pockets like inside out.
Oh,
And
and what was that for?
if you did that, he didn't bother you.
Really? Maybe just to show you have no money.
Maybe. I'm not
That's
sure,
that's the only thing I can think of.
you know, but it's terrified us when we were kids.
Our grandparents, like your grandparents, my grandparents probably weren't that different in age here.
Yeah,
And they told us the
I
scariest
know.
stories.
And if
Oh my word.
jack-o'-lantern didn't get you, the fairies did.
Oh no. Okay, tell us about fairies.
Oh gosh. The stories of kids playing out in their backyard, the fairies would come and take them.
Oh my. So we're
Yeah.
not talking Tinkerbell here.
No.
No.
No,
So
no.
how would a Newfoundland fairy be different than your typical Disney fairy?
I've never seen one, so
What about the descriptions of them?
no, they're supposed to be evil little creatures that steal children.
Really?
Yeah.
Not magical little tree
No,
sprites?
no, evil things that steal
Oh.
children.
See, that
Yeah.
sounds like a very Norwegian troll.
Yeah,
That would be, yeah. My
and they
family
believed
is,
in them, and they
yep,
believed them. Yeah. Oh, yeah. They believed in them, and mermaids, of course.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
The mermaids would make the sailors crash, just the ships into
yeah.
the oceans.
So,
Witches.
and witches and sirens.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how are
Yeah.
mermaids and sirens different?
I don't know, is there? I'm not sure. The
I thought one
sirens
was supposed to
sing.
come from a giant clamshell,
Oh, I
weren't
don't
they?
know. I'm not sure.
I'd
They
have to
may,
research that.
yeah, I'm not sure. I know sirens sing a song. I don't know if mermaids
Yes.
do that, but
Yeah.
but yeah. Hey,
Hi,
Aria.
Aria. Nice to see you.
Sirens sing and lure you to your death. Do mermaids
Yes.
do that, Indigo? I'm not sure.
See, did I ever mention she is the best moderator ever?
Yes,
Like she knows these things.
I know. I know.
Okay,
Mermaids are more
so
sensual and enticing. Okay.
okay. Sirens are from Greek mythology, while mermaids are from Northern European folklore.
Okay.
There you
Okay.
go.
Hi, Echo.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Ah, sirens are often depicted as half bird, half woman, while
Oh,
mermaids are half fish, half woman.
oh, wow.
Interesting. Okay.
Okay. And we also have witches there that cast
Mm-hmm.
spells.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think that you've been if cast, like somebody's cast a spell on you, in order to break the spell, this is going to sound so strange. Oh God. Okay, so what you have to do is you have to pee in a bottle.
You have to hit that thing, huh?
You have to pee in a bottle. Then
Eee.
you have to cork the bottle. Then you have to
Okay.
put a needle in the middle of the cork.
Okay.
So what happens is the witch that put the spell on you can't go to the bathroom. So then she has no choice but to present herself
Oh,
and
wow.
remove the spell. And
So
again,
they can eventually,
and there are
oh,
stories, of
wow.
course, they swear that, oh, I had a spell cast on me, and the witch, I did this, and the witch had to come to me, of course. Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. And I'm
That
sure
is
a lot of
wild.
these superstitions go back to Ireland, Scotland.
Absolutely. Yep,
Yeah, but
absolutely.
yeah, but very, very a lot of ghosts down there, and yeah, a lot of haunted houses.
So have you ever been to a haunted house, like an
I
actual
lived,
haunted house?
I lived
You've
in
lived,
one.
did you? Tell us some
Mhm.
stories, Barb.
Mm. Well, the logical part of me says no, but then the other part of me says, well, what is the other explanation? So
Okay.
we bought a house when I was 14, my
Uh-huh.
mom, and that was shortly after my dad died. So my mom bought a house. It was a big
Mm-hmm.
house. And
Mm-hmm.
it was after we bought the house, we started seeing some things happening. Lights would come on by itself, go off. And then we find out there's a history behind this house. And that
Do tell.
this house has been up for sale, like almost as fast as it would sell, it would go back on sale again.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, and then we were told that, no, this house is haunted.
So what was the story
So
behind the haunting? Did you ever hear?
now, yeah, it was a 4-bedroom house. It was a fairly big house with a 2-bedroom downstairs. It was a 6-bedroom house. And in Ohio, they have haunts. Yeah, houses are haunted. Um, but it turned out there was a little bedroom there, and I claimed that as mine when we moved in.
Mm-hmm.
Found out later, a man unalived himself in that room.
Ooh, no.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So my uncle seen him in the house,
Okay.
and at night you would hear the door opening and closing, and somebody walking up the stairs. My other uncle saw a man coming up the stairs dipped in blood.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my sister and her friend was in the bathroom, and the faucets came on by themselves. And when they tried to open the bathroom door wouldn't open. So yeah,
Wow.
um, looking at the bookcase once, because I was the eldest of the four, he said, come in here, the books are moving, and I went in, and the books were moved out of the bookcase. So I pushed them all back, and like slowly they would just move slightly out again. And
Oh my word.
like again, the logical part of me is saying there has to be some explanation,
Yeah.
right? Um, so after a year, we sold the house, and things always happened. There was nobody in our house that my aunts, uncles, whatever, everybody saw something. And we sold a house, kind of a sad story. The
Mm.
person that bought the house rented it, and he rented it to a couple who had a daughter, and she was a nursing student, first
Mm-hmm.
year, and she unalived herself in the same bedroom. Yeah,
Oh no.
yeah, within a year of living there. Yeah.
That's rough.
Hmm.
Wow.
So, you know, pretty pretty strange.
That is not only
Mhm.
strange, that's tragic.
It is.
Like honestly.
Mhm.
Wow. So what did they say? Why would they say that the ghost would stick around? Hi, Echo.
Nobody ever
Nice to see
said,
you.
yeah. Yeah, no, nobody ever said, like, we never got the full story about it, but
Okay.
we were told that, yeah, that's where the man, yeah.
Had done it.
And yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah. And then when we did sell the house, like I said, the man who bought it as a rental because there was a two-bedroom
Hmm.
apartment in the basement as well. And
Right.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just looking here.
Mhm.
Nope. Different note.
Indigo, you're a medium. Sometimes have to tell them to let me sleep, please. Wow.
I didn't know you were a medium. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Wow. That
So
is.
of the things
Yes.
that Barb has talked about, Indigo, what would you say that makes the most sense to you or you have seen before? It's because of the unresolved issues that underlie it, especially if it's a young person or done so unexpectedly. That makes sense.
Yeah. Now the man who did unalive himself apparently was in his 40s. That's
That's
about
still
the
pretty
only
young.
that's the only thing I now the other, and it was an older home. The home was
Hmm.
probably, I would think, about 100 years old. It
Okay.
was in the
Okay.
older part of St. John's.
Okay.
So I would think,
Interesting.
yeah, yeah. So I don't know if he is the one or if there was somebody prior, so it's really hard to know, but
For sure.
the house continued to go on sale quite often.
I
Yeah,
can imagine if that kind of stuff was going on.
yeah.
Yeah, I sure wouldn't want to stay there terribly long.
No, no, definitely not.
Yeah.
Yeah, but whatever it was, it didn't feel good.
No, I don't imagine.
Anybody who came to that house did not feel good. It just wasn't,
Hmm.
just
Just
very,
an unease.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Interesting.
There's
So
also, yeah,
go ahead.
I was gonna say there's also tradition in Newfoundland. You become an honorary Newfie, you get screeched in.
Describe being screeched in.
Yeah, my husband got screeched in this year.
Did he?
Um, you go to a house party or a pub, and you have to listen to a presenter tell you the history of Newfoundland. Then screech is it's a rum. I believe it's originally from Guyana.
Oh, interesting.
And yeah, it was brought over during, like, terrible thing to say, but the trade, and they would give
Mm,
salt fish for that. And sometimes if the remnants at the bottom of these barrels were also made into another alcohol.
mm,
So
okay.
even though the rum barrel was empty, they would just throw more alcohol in it and make a second batch from that.
And that will be the screech.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So now they just make it. You buy it in a liquor store now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you go in, you listen to a presenter, and then you have to kiss a codfish.
Is the codfish alive or dead?
It's frozen. It's
Oh, oh, that's not so
years
bad
ago.
then.
Years ago, it would have been a fresh one, but these
Oh,
days
yeah.
they're frozen. Yep, they're
That's no
frozen.
fun.
Yeah, you have to eat bologna, fried up bologna, we call it.
Bologna, yeah. I've
Yeah,
never heard anyone else call it bologna.
yeah, bologna.
Bologna is the only
Yeah,
way
yeah,
I've
I
known
think
it.
that's how Canadians pronounce it. Most Canadians are bologna, yeah.
Yeah,
And in
yeah.
Newfoundland, we call it Newfie steak.
Beef steak. My uncles used to call it tube steak.
Okay.
So
It
yeah,
comes in the tube. Yeah. Yeah.
that's right. Comes in a tube.
Yeah.
And yeah, they would,
Yeah.
yep, that's a comfort food for them because that's how they grew up. They
Yeah.
were very, very poor and tube steak fried up with toast
Yeah.
and beans, and it was good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can't imagine the stomach that had to deal with that.
No. And then you had to recite this little saying they give you. And then you have to take a shot of screech. Then you're
Ah,
screeching. Yeah, you have to drink it.
yes.
And when we were there was 40 people in the pub getting screeched in.
Oh. Was it like, I promise to do this and I saw right hand over the heart. Okay, I solemnly swear
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
And yeah, and there were 40 people and a presenter that he actually owned a bar as well. He went around before the screeching ceremony and asked everybody their names. Now you got about 40
Mm,
people. And
wow.
as he was presenting them their certificate of Newfoundland citizenship, he actually remembered everybody's name. I couldn't believe it.
Really? That's a skill right there.
I couldn't believe it.
Man. I suppose after all that time doing it, he would have to develop this mental muscle that would have to remember all of that.
Yeah, because his the history of Newfoundland that went on for about a half an hour. So you've got a half hour in between everybody telling him their names and actually going back and remembering all the names. And that
Wow.
blew us away. That was
I
crazy.
can, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay, Indigo, oak barrels are better for whiskey. For
Hmm.
rye.
One thing I like is crystallizing spam on the stove. Spam is sort of like bologna,
Yeah,
but due to the different cut of meat, it's also similar to brisket, like canned brisket
right,
is, yeah. So
right.
how do you crystallize spam? Is that just simply, or corned beef, not brisket, corned beef? Is that simply like mixing it around like scrambled eggs, or how exactly do you do that? It's a very interesting
Crystallized spam on your stove.
crystallizing.
Spam is sort of, yeah, I know that we used to eat spam.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I remember spam.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Spam or click,
Yes.
basically the same thing.
Yes.
Yep. We're showing our age here.
I know. So
Yes.
use butter. Okay, you use butter and you cook it on the stove instead of boiling it. Okay.
You would boil spam? I've never,
No,
I've never
it's popular.
boiled spam. As someone who can't cook, how do you crystallize food? I just burn everything. Oh, Aria, maybe we need to have a cooking show on here at some point.
As someone who can't cook,
And yes, spam is hugely popular in Hawaii. I have no idea
is
why.
it?
It is so popular. Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh
So,
no.
what are some foods in Newfoundland that would be common there, less common elsewhere?
Salt beef.
Salt beef.
Salt
Okay,
beef.
so what's that?
So, before refrigerators, they would kill the animals, right? Beef,
Hmm.
and they would pickle it. So it's put in the
Mm.
buckets and it's
Mm-hmm.
pickled, and that way it lasts all winter.
For sure.
So very salty. Um, you would have to boil it off a couple of times to get the salt out of it, and then you
Oh,
just
wow.
throw,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, Jig's dinner. I don't know if you've ever heard of Jig's dinner. Okay, so that would be where they boil the salt beef, then they throw the cabbage, turnip, carrot, potatoes, everything in with that, and that's a Jig's dinner.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Okay.
saltfish, salted
Yeah.
cod,
Salt cod. Yeah, I've heard of
salted
that.
cod. Yeah, and what they do is just build flakes. It's like wood sticks, and then they just place the wood sticks on the top. They throw the fish on top, and they just leave it. Yeah, that's
Okay.
it. They leave it,
That's
and it's in the
kind of
summer.
gross.
The flies are flying. I know, it's so gross. It is. It is gross.
I can honestly say, no, thank you. I'll
I
rather
know.
kiss a cod.
I know. And some
Yeah.
people just take it off the flake like it is and eat it.
Oh, wow.
I know.
I suppose when you're used to it, right? It's like street food in India or Mexico. You know, if your
Right.
body is used to those particular bio,
Yeah.
like the germs and bacteria is the word I was looking for,
Yeah.
and all of that other stuff, then your body would know how to fight it.
Right. Right.
But for those of us with little itty bitty Saskatchewan tummies, may not do so well.
And I think maybe the salt would,
Yes,
it's the
would
amount of
kill a
salt
lot. Yeah,
would kill a lot of the bacteria. Yeah.
yeah,
Now, the only way, I mean,
absolutely.
I'm okay with it. The only way I eat is if it's boiled.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you throw your potatoes in with that as well. Potatoes goes in everything. Everything.
Aria, I was banned from the kitchen almost 20 years ago when I burnt the food and set my hair on fire.
Oh my
Love
God.
it. Oh, I can just picture that. That's awesome. I love it.
Oh my gosh. That's nuts. I'm not a great cook. My sister is a good cook. Yeah.
Yeah,
But I'm not a great cook. I'm glad you
yeah,
just survived too.
absolutely.
Oh
Yes,
my
I'm
God.
not a great cook, but
Yeah.
in our house, we're very creative cooks. It's like,
Okay.
okay, we're going to do a stir fry. What have we got? Okay, it's whatever's in the fridge, we're stirring
Right.
it as it
Yeah.
fries.
Yeah.
That's our stir fry.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
how do you make the sauce? Well, let's see. There's a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this. Oh,
Yeah. It sounds like this place as well. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So Indigo set sugar on fire once.
How the heck do you set
That
sugar?
would have really smelled bad.
Oh
Burnt sugar
wow.
is just there's not much like it. It's pretty special, I
Oh
have to
wow.
say. Yeah.
Speaking of sugar, bread pudding is popular in Newfoundland.
So tell me, how in Newfoundland do you do your bread pudding?
It's soaked in egg, milk, raisins,
Mm-hmm.
and then you bake it. Like you kind of,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, mix it all together in pieces and bake it. So it comes out
Mm-hmm.
almost like a cake type of a thing. And
Yep.
then
With
you
a bit of
make it.
custardy in it.
Ours is, yeah, it's a little bit moist, yeah, inside.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
then you make a custard or a caramel sauce that goes over it.
oh
Yeah,
yes, yes.
yeah, with brown sugar, cream. And you
Mm,
just boil
yeah.
it gently until it turns into a caramel sauce. Yeah,
Oh, sounds delightful. Oh, wow.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
So
there's also Newfoundland has a special kind of black bread. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's the kind that's made in the coffee cans,
no, I don't. That must be a different area of Newfoundland. I've never had that.
or it could be somewhere southern in New Brunswick instead of Newfoundland. The
Now,
it's a
there's
maybe
molasses, maybe. And maybe it's like a molasses type of a bread.
I believe so, yeah. Molasses and lots of like whole wheat, but with seeds and stuff like you would make with like the ancient grains kind of bread.
Okay.
And then you sit it in the coffee. My mom used to do this, and she learned it from somebody. I thought she said it was from Newfoundland,
Okay.
Could have been New Brunswick, could have been Nova Scotia. I don't know.
Right.
Somewhere east.
Okay. Okay.
But then you would put it in there and then you would boil it instead
Oh,
of baking it, and then it would rise that way. If
oh,
I'm remembering correct, I could be remembering completely incorrectly.
okay.
That happens here.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, down east, different places they have,
Yeah,
yeah, different foods or whatever, and it sounds yummy.
yeah. They would make
Maybe.
coffee can bread during the Depression. Well,
Oh,
I can
that's
tell
what
you
that
when I have depression, I'm not making anybody bread. So,
is. Oh gosh.
yes,
That is Teresa. Hi. Ah,
yes. Hi,
well,
Teresa. Nice to see you. Wounds to Wisdom is Teresa.
yeah.
Okay. Crystal may not know her though. And Marie, nice to see you. Talking about cooking in the
Hi,
steam bath.
Marie.
Yes, it's cooking in the steam bath. That's right. Yep.
Yeah. And
Facebook mom.
there's a couple of customs. There's pancake night.
Oh, tell me about pancake night. That sounds
Pancake
fun.
night. Now that is before Lent,
Yes.
March.
Tuesday, right?
Yes, Shrove Tuesday.
Shrove Tuesday.
Right,
Yes.
right.
Okay.
So that's pancake night in Newfoundland.
Okay.
Yeah,
Interesting.
that's dinner.
See, it's just amazing how St. John's, Newfoundland is
Yeah.
closer to Dublin, Ireland than it is to Vancouver, British Columbia. Did
Oh,
you know that?
really?
It
No.
is. It is
Oh,
closer to Ireland than it is to the other side of Canada.
oh wow.
Just, yeah. So hearing these different traditions and stuff like that from a different part of Canada may
Hmm.
sound weird to some people, but I find it fascinating.
Yeah.
Like, just, I love being able to hear. I love maritime music, Newfoundland music, like
Jigs.
the jigs. That's right, the shanties,
Yes.
yeah, all of that stuff. There's a band called Great Big Sea
Yep.
that was very popular in the 90s.
Mm,
Yeah, I absolutely loved them. Loved them.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So yeah, that's a thing. Um, Now what they do on pancake night though, which is kind of dangerous actually, is they'll put things like button. They'll put a button inside, just a regular button,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and some would have maybe a screw or a nail inside.
Oh my.
Some would have a coin, like a nickel or something inside.
Okay. Why
Or
are you trying to kill the children?
I know, right?
This is
And some they like if you had like a holy metal of some sort,
yeah, yeah,
right? And that would be fried inside with the pancake. Now,
right.
if you
And
found,
Marie is right. Mardi Gras in New Orleans, they have king cake, and they
oh,
have a little itty bitty baby Jesus that
okay,
they put in cake somewhere, and the person who gets that piece of cake, I don't know exactly what happens. I'm recalling, and I could be absolutely 100% wrong, but I'm recalling that that person has to make the cake next year. So they're
oh,
like king for the year or whatever. I don't know.
okay, yeah.
But
So
it
if you
is,
get a button, that means when you grow up, because they give it to kids, when you grow up, you're going to be a tailor or seamstress.
oh,
Yeah.
oh,
If you
okay.
find money,
Screws
you're
and
going to
nails
be
would
rich.
be,
Nails, you're going to be a carpenter or
oh,
something to
wow.
do. Yeah.
Okay.
Apparently, some people would put a little tiny piece of a pencil in that meant you were going to be a teacher. Yeah. And if
That's not,
the
that's
medallion
not
would be
dangerous
that
at all.
maybe in the ministries or the priesthood or
Oh
things.
my
No,
goodness.
not dangerous at all. Oh, there we go. Lucky.
There we go. Okay, I
Yeah.
knew it was something like that. The lucky person finds the baby Jesus in their slice, becomes king of the party, and is obliged to purchase the cake for the next celebration. There we go. So
Okay.
I was right both ways. Just I didn't
Okay.
know it was all together.
And
There we
Crystal
go.
was saying Shrove Tuesday is Pancake Day
Even here.
as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And another one that we
Absolutely.
have in November is Bonfire Night.
Oh, tell me about
And
that. That sounds
that
like
has
nice.
do with what was his name? The one who tried to blow up the Parliament in England.
I got nothing.
Hang on. Anyway, it's in celebration that he didn't succeed.
Guy Fawkes?
That's him.
That's
Yes,
him. Guy Fawkes Day. Okay,
yes.
now that I've heard of. I
Newfoundland, we
didn't know
celebrate.
why.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah, we celebrate that in Newfoundland. So what you do is you go out, you find whatever wood, tires, old tires, whatever burns, and you make a mountain out of that, and you catch fire to
Oh
it.
wow.
Yeah,
Okay, so so they want the burning to last, at least a year if they're burning
probably. Yeah.
tires. Those things burn forever.
You know, pollution. Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah,
Yes.
that's celebrated even now in Newfoundland.
Oh.
That's celebrated.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's wild.
yeah, yeah. And
That's
yeah, the
fun.
kids, we'd be up till the fire would go on usually till probably 11 o'clock.
Hmm.
So that's every November we do that.
Wow.
Yeah. So
That
we have
sounds like
some
fun.
strange. Yeah, I don't know if we have anything else. We have a regatta, and
Okay, and what's a regatta?
that is in the city every year. The whole city shuts down, except for
Oh,
hospitals and things like that. The whole city shuts down in August, and it's boat races. So it's
okay.
like a little mini fair.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's a big day. I don't know what it celebrates. I don't know the reason for it, but
Just celebrating seafarers.
it just is.
Yeah.
They do the rowboats. They're like long. I don't know what type of boats they are. They're
Okay.
they look something like canoes, except I'm sure you've seen them
Maybe
on TV.
dragon boats?
Dragon boats, yeah, similar
Yeah.
to that, where there's like 10 people rowing the boat. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then they go out on a lake that we have, and yeah, we do that. And remember,
Remember the 5th of November, the gunpowder treason and the plot.
yeah,
Oh, Indigo, you know too many things, or else you're really great at Googling. Either way, spot on, my friend, spot on. So
wealth of knowledge.
I know, right? And I say I'm full of it. I mean, trivia, that kind of stuff. Yeah. So,
Oh gosh.
wow,
But yeah, I think that's about the only traditions that
that's
that we have.
wonderful.
Yeah,
Well, I'm trying to think of anywhere in Canada.
right.
I suppose Acadian. When I think of places with different traditions than what we would find out here in the prairies or that kind of thing, I think of Eastern Canada, the old parts of Canada where people have been there for 200-300 years, right?
Oh,
And just
I
yeah.
St. John's is probably like the third oldest city in North America.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's the oldest? Do you know?
I think there's a city in the
Halifax.
United States that's older.
Hmm.
So I
Okay.
think St. John's is the third oldest city. So yeah, a lot
Hmm.
of the houses, there's the jelly bean houses there. And
Okay, so what are jelly bean houses?
oh,
I know what
jelly
you're
bean,
talking about, but these
yeah,
guys won't.
yeah, yeah. I guess when St. John's was first settled, everybody wanted to live as close to the ocean as possible. So instead of
Hmm.
separating their houses, they are rows of townhouses, and they rows and rows and streets of, and they all go uphill, downhill. They're all
Right.
because yeah, yeah. So yeah, and they painted them all different colors, so they look like something similar to what's behind you, your paintings. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
they look like the paintings. They also look like the background on the screen because they're a lot of pastel colors, I seem to recall. Is that right?
they
Like
paint them all
yellows and pinks and
red,
blues and
yellow.
purples and
Yeah,
everything.
I mean,
Yes.
when I was a child, a lot of them were run down,
Okay.
but now as St. John's tourism, everything. Yeah. They bought them up. They fixed them up and they look really good.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's wonderful.
And driving in St. John's is horrendous because you're either going uphill, going way uphill, or you're going way downhill. And, sometimes you couldn't stop and your car would go through a department store.
Now that's creating a drive-in right there is what that's
Hmm.
called. Yeah.
A couple of people have ended up in the ocean. Hmm.
Yeesh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think
That's
anybody got,
scary.
I think they all got out of it. But yeah, it's all
Yes.
uphill or down. Terrible place
Yeah.
to drive. Uphill or downhill.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's really bad.
You have to know how to park on a hill. So, yeah.
And parallel parking is a must.
Yes. Yeah, there's no way you could have your angled parking.
No.
Yeah, that would be bad.
Is Misha here?
Misha, yep, she
Hi.
came.
I will
So
only
walk if I
watch.
visit there.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's in the winter. I don't even know how people can drive. I couldn't.
It- studs on the tires there has to be.
Well, there used to be
Because
chains on tires.
yes, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
people would actually put chains on their tires because I guess back then
Yeah.
you only had, I don't know if there's even winter tires back then, was there?
I'm sure there were. But
Yeah,
even in these days in going through the mountains and such
yeah.
out here in Western Canada, definitely chains on the tires for the big trucks. It's illegal on certain highways to not have chains in your vehicle if you're going on certain roads during certain times of the year
Okay.
because you have to be able to drive.
Yeah.
And that's really the only way to do it. Tire chains common in parts of the US as well.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Oh, are they?
Yep.
Tire chains are common. I did not know that.
Yep. Because, yeah, anywhere where there's lots of snow, so like northern Colorado or up in the mountains, wherever,
Yeah.
um, yeah, you don't want to be just sliding down the hill.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I like this. If it's snowing, I'm not going.
It was
I like it.
something when I first moved to Ontario. Um,
Yep.
they had a snowstorm, my very first snowstorm. Big do about this snowstorm, and I'm like,
You're like,
this snowstorm.
it's like 4 inches. Leave it alone.
Your car isn't buried.
No, I know, right? You could still see out the window.
Your
What's your
car.
problem?
Yeah. When I got married the
Yes.
first time, I've been married twice. The first time I was 19 when I got married, and
Mm.
um, we got married in a state of emergency
Ah,
in
okay.
March.
Oh
Major
boy.
snowstorm. It was a state of emergency, which was the state of the marriage as well.
Oh no. Talk about harbingers of
No,
bad,
I
like
know. I should have
harbingers of
known.
doom.
I should have known
Yes.
right there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so the reception hall. Well,
Hmm?
stuff we couldn't get to the minister. He had to come to our house. He managed
Whoa.
to, yeah, there was only emergency vehicles allowed on the road. But anyway, he came to
Hmm.
our house. And then we made it to the reception hall because that was only a few blocks away. When we left the
Okay.
reception hall, we couldn't get out because the reception hall was snowed in, doors, everything. We could not get out.
Mm-hmm.
We all thought we were going to have to sleep in the reception hall that night.
No
Yeah.
doubt.
So
Wow.
guys worked on it and managed to wedge a door open. Yeah.
Holy moly.
So we couldn't get up our street. We made it so far. And then when we got to the bottom of our street, it was a big hill, another hill. So
Yeah.
we had to all get out and walk past our waist in snow
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
with our
Yeah.
dresses on.
Oh wow.
I know. And about 20
The
people
things we do for love.
and about 20 people from the reception couldn't go home because it was too far. They couldn't get there. So
Oh
they
no,
stayed at our
yeah.
house.
Yep.
Yeah, we never did get to the hotel ourselves. We had to stay at the yeah, Yeah. So that's
Yay!
yeah,
Wedding night with my mom.
yeah, yeah, and 20 other people. Yeah, they couldn't get
Yeah,
so yeah. So that's a snowstorm.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, when we lived in New Brunswick, there were great big, like 8 foot tall poles beside all of the fire hydrants.
Yes.
A couple other places, like the signs, the street signs had
Yep.
a pole reaching up. We're like, why on earth do they have those? And they're like, oh, for when it snows. What do you mean for when it snows? Well, um,
Yeah.
the trucks,
Yeah.
the
They
word
have
is
to be able to,
escaping me. Plows have to where not to hit.
yes, they have to know where they are.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
Oh yeah.
incredible.
Yeah. I remember getting up and not my dad's car completely just covered in
Hmm.
snow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Area says
At
I live
least
up north and they don't know how to drive in snow either.
Indigo says, at least they stopped the tradition where people would watch you on your wedding night.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks. No thanks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really. Really.
Oh,
Oh
oh,
my
wow.
gosh.
Yes.
That was only for royals. No, we were just paupers. We
Yeah.
didn't have to worry about that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh gosh.
Oh, this has been lovely. Thank you so much for joining me and teaching me a bit about my own Canadian other side of the world
That's okay. I
history,
don't know
or
a
not
lot
history,
about your
traditions.
area either, so
That's, well, and probably traditions here that I don't think of as odd, but someone else probably would. I don't know. That's
yeah.
kind of odd.
And like you said,
But
miles in between because Canada is so large that
it's huge.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I was mentioning that one of my daughters was coming here from where she lives in a different
right,
part of Canada,
right.
and it would take more than 24 hours to drive simply from her house to my house. And they're like, "What do you mean it takes that long to drive?" Well,
I,
yeah, no, it's a
yeah.
several hour flight. What do you mean it's a several hour
Oh
flight?
yeah.
Like, yeah, it's huge.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
It to get to Newfoundland, I believe our flight was about 3 hours and 45 minutes.
that sounds right.
And that's to get from
Yeah,
Ontario to Newfoundland. And I think
absolutely.
the drive out west from Ontario, it's 3 days, I think, if you were to stop and get some sleep along the way.
Yes, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's oh,
Yes.
this was a fun life. Thank you.
I'm so glad. Now I'm going to advertise
Yeah.
something here. I made
Yes.
something for the moderators in any chat. Let's play Whack-A-Troll. And there's a troll, and then there is a person with a blue wrench. So I'm going to
Back control.
Whack-A-Troll. That is a phrase that I first heard from Misha. So
Okay.
if you know anybody who wants any Whack-A-Troll, yes, she took my line. That's right. Um, so yeah, I absolutely adopted your line, Misha. So if there is anybody who wants
She took
any
my
sort
line.
of merch with this is a long sleeve t-shirt. There are mouse pads, there are water bottles, there are just a couple of different things that I've put together. So Let's Play Whack-A-Troll is definitely available for any mod in your life, and it would be a lot of fun.
That's
So yeah, I thought I had fun making it. So
that is so cute.
anyway, alrighty, my friend, I should probably go and
Yes.
join the rest of my family because they're family. And
And thank you for making this so easy for me. I was so
well,
nervous.
you made it easy too. You've got
Thank
great
you.
stories to tell. I love it.
Thank
This is
you.
wonderful. Okay, I will
All
say
right.
good night to you, and I will say good night to the chat.
Bye,
Have an awesome
everybody.
day.
Thank you for coming.
Tomorrow, I will see you at 2 p.m. for your Bible devotions.
Thank you, Aria.
Yes, thank you, Aria. Thank you, Marie, Indigo, Misha, Crystal, everybody. Thank you so much for
Everybody.
making a good night tonight.
Thank you.
We'll talk to you later. Bye bye.